Go down either. You are.
Should well, add some white.
Oh, your seeds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be working oil into it.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. We're early. That's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of got
Planning.
This one.
This is the one that I'm thinking is what
Well,
we're
or
going to end up
this
leaning
one.
towards. How much is that one?
It was a lot cheaper than all our options. Well, we got somebody. Somebody's in our life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to look into it. We're going a little earlier.
Just one of those nights.
Yeah. But I think that will be a good idea to do it. Hopefully we can get our grow room set up in time to actually grow something before spring. Maybe.
No, I think we will. I think we can.
I don't know.
Figure it out.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a project that we've talked about for a long time.
Hello, Cliffside Permaculture.
Hey, how are you doing? What are you cooking? We're scheduled for 8:30, but we went on a little bit earlier. We were just sitting here anyway, so we figured why not?
Yeah. If I go up, does it get better? No, it doesn't.
Not really. Oh, that's bright. That's worse for. Well, I guess you're not going to look at it. That's all right.
Because that's darker.
Yeah. Just don't look directly at it.
Don't look into the light.
Everything's better with bacon. Yeah. We're hoping to get some opinions from people tonight on our plans for our grow room and just how to get it set up, I guess you could say.
What to use on the walls for reflectiveness, because we've done a whole bunch of reading, but then we're kind of at this point that we're not sure which option to go with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Hitchichick.
Hey there.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Crazy already. What are we now?
6th, I think.
Something. Oh.
January 6th. It's crazy how quickly time just flies.
Well, Chris had 2 weeks off over the holidays, and that just disappeared so fast.
It was nice though.
It was good.
Nice. We got a bunch of stuff done. Yeah. Not as much as we would have necessarily liked, but at the same time, it was the end of December.
Yeah, that's the story of life. Did you end up with quite a bit of snow? Either of you? Well, we saw the cliffsides is all gone, which is
yeah, you had a lot of snow came and then it went, and then yeah, you seem to be in an area that kind of gets. Extremes is the wrong word, but
well, this year, anyways, it certainly seems funny with that sort of stuff.
We're funny too, though, because we were just commenting about that a little while ago about how was it today or yesterday, how for January it's so mild out.
Yeah, I can't get over how gorgeous it is every day. I said if it could just stay like this, I think we've been around 0 every day. Well, 0 Celsius, 32. There we are. Yeah, the yo-yo. That's a good way to describe it. Mm-hmm. That's what we're seeming like this year. I mean,
with everything.
Yeah,
from rain to snow to ice.
The kids are loving all the icicles off the roof, though.
Yeah,
I've never seen such big killer icicles because we keep melting and yeah, but yeah, exactly. Just at freezing. We said that it'd be nice for it just to stay kind of consistent for the plants and things too, because I think it's going to be hard for them to adjust with this. We have +10, then we have -15.
Well, we've had a lot of swings where like the frost goes in and you've got no snow cover and it's quite cold because it was
Yeah.
like that right at the end of December, and
Oh, it
then it
was.
warms up again. And we even noticed the the red and silver maples and that, and
We're looking like they were going to bud out.
yeah, their buds are full like you would expect, kind of like March,
Mm-hmm.
and it's January and they've done it. And we actually found a pussy willow on the
Yeah,
property that had partially budded out. And he's like, that's crazy.
for January.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
January. Although it's not the craziest January ever, because I do remember finding frogs one year at the very beginning of January.
Well, yeah, there was 1 year that it was what plus 15 or something like that. It was crazy
Yeah.
warm, but
Oh, it was really crazy.
yeah, it's been very up and down, and then we don't get the snow cover. Like last year, I was able to ride the horses all winter. It was beautiful. We had fresh snow cover all the time, and it was gorgeous. And then this year, it's just been horrible, icy, and then hard ground.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. It's the like you say with the Gulf Stream, you've got like what do they call it for us? It's the Arctic air masses. You'll see the predictions and they dip way down, and then all of a sudden the next week they're way back up north somewhere, and it's quite the roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
which probably isn't good in a lot of ways, but
Well, as long as it doesn't hit the apple trees in the spring, as long as it isn't silly.
They're not too bad. It's some of the other stuff that
Yeah.
gets hit.
Yeah.
So that's my fear with peaches. I want to grow some. We are in a zone that we can grow them,
Hi,
but
Lori.
I'm always afraid of you plant a bunch of them and then you lose the blossoms in the spring.
Yeah.
Because you get a cold snap after they've already come out, and you lose everything.
Well, that's
Just kind of
so we haven't had the best of luck with peaches so far. So
well, yeah, that's true. We only really had the one, and it got moved. So
yeah, we kind of killed it.
Yeah.
We killed it, but that's okay.
We're not going to kill the blueberries.
We haven't yet. We do have a bit of a. I don't know if you've seen our blueberry story there with the blueberries that we moved them from our property that we used to live at a year ago. We dug them all up in October, I guess, end of October, and put them all in those black Rubbermaid totes. We're in zone 5B.
But I think the Canadian ones are slightly different.
Oh, right, yes.
I actually haven't gone back and looked it up lately, but pretty sure they
are. Yeah, we'd be similar.
Should be a little warmer, little more moderate than us. But for Canada, we're pretty moderate.
Well, we're about the same as you said down Niagara Falls area.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, so pretty good. But yes, the blueberries, they came here in those black, they're not Rubbermaid, but the totes you get at Home Depot, the black bucket.
The roughneck totes.
Yeah, and we had the best of intentions of planting them this spring, and they didn't. And then this fall we got a few planted, but they're still in the totes again for another year.
They seem to like the totes, actually. So.
Well, they did well enough, and we just left them where they were, and we're going to just hope that the rest of them hold tight. I think there's got to be 22 more to plant, I think, in there. So, yeah. So she's a 60.
It's nice being in a, well, I guess it is a microclimate. It's a little different because there's benefits to it. We even find in our property, maybe it's just in our head, but
there's microclimates right on the property.
Yeah, like as you walk to the north of the property because it's so long, they're very micro, very localized, but there's a definite change as you go from the house back. The house is definitely
well, and that's where like that pit area that we want to develop into our food forest, which we've been getting a lot of good tips from Cliffside Permaculture's videos on dealing with cliff type situations. But definitely, I would have said that we're hoping is going to be quite a microclimate because
it's a little more moderate.
Yeah, and it's very sheltered and
compared to.
So
as you get to the pasture, it's not very sheltered.
No, you get to the back of the property and it feels like you've dropped 10 degrees. But yeah, so I don't know. We're still learning about this property. I think that's one of the big things, like what spots things will make it through the winter and what they won't, because we get quite the wind off of the one field.
Well, we're one growing season through, so we've got a bit of an idea now.
So. Well, and I wouldn't say that we had much planted in last winter, so we don't really know how it's going to fare, I guess.
No, not exactly.
We got, what did we get planted for last winter?
Nothing.
Did we plant Saskatoons? Yes.
No.
No, we
got
planted them this
year.
spring. So yeah.
Yep.
So we had everything lived in black totes last year because we moved November 1st and it was miserable and horrible.
Yeah, but we wanted to bring it all. So
yeah. So we did, yeah.
And more than a year later, now we're planning grow rooms in our basement.
Yeah, grow rooms.
Something we've we've wanted to do it for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
So
even at the other place, our old house, we talked about
we were
it.
planning it and just never got that far, which is probably a good thing because then we moved. But
yeah, we wouldn't have taken it with us.
No, that's something we would not have been taking with us.
We just kind of said with the grow room this year, it's one of those things that we're noticing the cost of greens and vegetables and stuff isn't going down. That's for sure. Well, so we're hoping to start this up and maybe
we can't really. Yes, you could technically grow some things outside, but we're cold enough. Like your cabbages are alive, but they're not growing.
They're not growing. We're just kind of hoping that they might do something come spring.
Yeah, well, they probably will, and they get some seed off them or something. But
yeah, leave them under the snow for now and see if they make it.
Yeah, but we're a little too cold to really.
Hey, gardening in the north. I'm very curious, Cliffside, to see how your mushrooms do planted outside in the wintertime. I'm really, really curious on that because that is something that we talked about growing mushrooms, and it has to be simple. It has to be that kind of way where you can just put it out there and survival of the fittest, I guess.
Hello, Wildwood Gardening. We want to try next year. We want to try getting some of the wine caps.
Yeah,
I forget the proper name for them, but like you say, something that's just easier to propagate here.
Yeah, but exactly.
At least for maybe our first mushrooms.
Go at it.
Yeah, and then maybe work up to from there for something more difficult.
Yeah. Well, and there's some of those neat little kits that you can get for indoor stuff, but it's kind of one of those. I don't know if we're even set up for that. That just seems to involve a whole nother setup.
The indoor ones?
Yeah,
probably.
So outside is better. I think you can even, like the oyster mushrooms and that in the season, you can still grow them outside. So we might give that a try, but you're definitely looking at the wine caps and that sort of thing. So
I think they'll work well.
Yeah.
But see if we get that far.
Cassie Wildwood Gardening knows her what zone for what is equals in U.S.
I wonder what we are, because we're 5B.
Yes. Wildwood Gardening. What is 5B in U.S.? It's like I'm talking to Google.
I should look it up, but I haven't any time.
I know. You need a chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I think that's a great thing to do. So that's probably going to be the first. The wine caps are going to be the first one we try, anyways.
Well, I like the sound of them too because you can actually propagate them and move them around a little bit once you get them going. Or at least that's what I've read about them, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. The second one she got. That's the one we watched you. Yeah, we watched you planting that one outside after it fell down the hill. Wasn't that the one that fell down the hill? Yeah.
They may be something to look into too.
Yeah. So they must be a hardier oyster, maybe. We'll have to look into that one too because we really like the oyster mushrooms. Mm-hmm. So we will try them.
I don't know a lot about growing mushrooms.
No,
yet.
We're going to start easy and kind of work our way in.
Yeah, that's the plan anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, Jan.
Hi, Simply Jan.
How are you doing tonight? We're.
I guess our thing, starting to get some people in here. We were kind of just hoping to pick people's brains because we know collectively there's more knowledge out there than probably we've been able to find on our own.
Yeah.
And just kind of for our grow space, so it's a 6 by 8 roughly. room that we're making downstairs. We're getting to the point where we need to figure out what we're using as sort of the wall coverings. We've kind of looked into, I guess, 4 options. Like there are others.
Well, why not just see if anybody else has done it first? We know gardening in the north. She said hers was it your
in the
closet? Is it a white closet?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of go through the 4 that seem to be the most appealing are the diamond mylar, we call it the panda foil, just flat white latex paint, or the non-diamond mylar. Kind of sounds like the normal mylar maybe not a good option. Because you either have to have, what we've read anyways, is it either has to be really creased, or
really
super flat, and in between is not very effective. It sort of apparently reduces the reflectiveness.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of hoping others have maybe
tried doing something like what we're trying to achieve here
before we go ahead
get a little bit of an idea. But it seems a very mixed what people want to do or are doing with things. So, but I don't know. It'll be nice to get a few things growing, and
well, if we can pull it off, it'll be a great space. But
yeah, get some lettuce in there, and we've already got the kale started. We actually have lettuce started, but it's not doing so great because we haven't got the room set up.
Where our shelf, you can actually see the lights reflecting in the back right there. We have a small shelf upstairs, but it's too warm for lettuce. It kind of wants to go wild.
Yeah, it's like bolting right away kind of thing.
Yeah, so we're thinking the basement's better for that. But
yeah, get the temperature down a little bit for it. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be a good spot too to move things as we get them started up here. It gives us a spot to move them to. Eventually, everything will move to the greenhouse, but
well, that's planned at stage because we won't use the downstairs space.
No,
year round. It's kind of more just to get through
winter,
November, December, January, February, probably March. So if that's just counted off my fingers. 5 months of the year we probably use it.
Yeah,
sort of the plan. But at the same time, it's worth it.
Oh
if
yeah,
you can grow some food in it for 5 months. That's definitely worth it.
Food is food.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of production.
It's a good idea. Wildwood gardening, having the zone conversion. Having that spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are handy. But
you've got. What did you start? You wanted to do a seed catalog of what we have in a spreadsheet.
Yeah, we need to do it at some point.
Well, that's. I wouldn't say it's something that a lot of people have done. So I guess we're just kind of trying to come up with a cheaper way to get a big space and not have to buy the tent and all that. I mean, we've looked into growing tent.
Well, we looked into it too, and the diamond mylar and the mylar in general, the biggest issue is if it gets dirty, and that can just be water spots on it.
It's useless.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty much loses its reflective quality, and you basically have to replace it. So then it's kind of, this is my opinion anyways, and this is kind of where I was hoping to maybe pick some people's brain, was if you constantly got to replace it, that's not particularly sustainable. And it sounded like it wasn't easy to wash. Now there's a more expensive version of mylar called Polar, I starts with an F, and it's supposed to be cleanable, but I can't even find anybody that sells it at the moment.
We're leaning towards the white paint as well. It is the least reflective option.
Yeah, because we've kind of gone through, and this is, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but the flat paint is anywhere from 75 to 90%. I guess it depends on how many angles and stuff the room has.
Hey, John.
Hey, Johnny. but then the next one up is, they call it the panda foil, which is not foil at all. It's another plastic, but it's the one. It's black on one side and white on the other, and it's supposed to be from 85 to 95% reflective. The nice part is we did read you can clean it. The downside is eventually it still apparently gets brittle, but
well, come and help us.
Maybe you can help us.
What's the best reflective way to do it? And they did not recommend using cheaper mylar. Yeah, that's what we're thinking too. With the not using the cheaper mylar, we kind of, well, the original thought was tinfoil. Then we did some research. That isn't the best option. No. So,
the reflective value.
We looked into the grow tent option, but I mean, it was what was it, a 4 by 6 foot space, and it was still $200 and something, and you didn't have shelves. You didn't have.
When we've done the reading again too, if it's the mylar material and you have to replace it, then it's kind of. Yeah, I think it is an option as long as it doesn't have.
It has to be flat. It has to be flat.
Because the one thing we found on everything we've read, which we've gone through reading a lot of stuff in the last couple of days, is that the semi-gloss or gloss actually doesn't have as much reflective value.
The plastic is okay. John's saying the plastic. I'll check my Facebook for sure.
Yeah, because we looked into the plastic, and it took me a while to find some, but Home Depot and some of the other big box stores do sell it. I forget what they call it. Something different. You have to order it, but then you have to order everything ahead of time now, anyways. So, and it was because they had the diamond mylar sheets. Most of it was sold out, but they did have some smaller sizes available, but they were quite a bit more expensive than this black and white panda foil. So part of me was kind of thinking it might be a good option, even if you did have to replace it. I question whether we'd have to replace it because of the way we probably would attach it to the wall and that. But like it's talking about uses for outdoors and all that sort of thing. So I can see it breaking down there, but.
Inside in the room, I doubt it.
I'm totally guessing.
Yeah. But okay, so that's good info. We will look more into that option as well. I mean, our next option was just the straight painting it white with the flat latex, but they said 75% reflectivity. Is that a word?
75 to 90. So it seems like it's a bit over.
Where the foil, the panda foil, the white and black, was 85 to 95. Glue it down the wall like shingles. Tuck tape it. Oh, I better Google. What's a dehum?
I don't know.
Oh, we're novices at this. We'll have to Google that. But no, that's very, very good information because that's what we needed. We needed to have a better, because we've been going through all this silver stuff and how we were going to get it up there and not have it creased, and this sounds like it might be a better option. Trying
to go and do this indoor growing is there's a lot of information and it's hard to find.
Oh, dehumidifier. We got one of those.
We do have one. We'll have to see because our basement right now isn't very humid.
Yeah, it's only about 40.
It probably will bring it up once you get the plants and everything down there. But.
Yeah, we left the gaps up at the top all the way, except for on the block side there. We're going to have the gap all the way around because we thought that would help the heat escape and keep circulation going.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it allows it, because it's in the basement with it's like a double-edged thing, right? On one side, we wanted some ventilation because the hot air can come up, and that's fine. But we were also practical wise, it's like if we need to run wires or piping or whatever, then we figured that was a good idea. And it worked out really well for the plywood because because we were building a room, or we are building a room, we wanted it sturdy enough, like on the outside, we want to build shelves for storage because storage is one of our biggest problems. And so we wanted something solid, but we thought the gaps would be worked.
You're welcome to steal the idea.
Yes.
We'll
Glad
swing
we've
by
got
and check it out at some point.
glad we've got a second confidence vote on
Yeah,
the value of them.
yeah. Well, it is good, and it will pay off in the end. The investment that we have to make now, basically.
Yeah. Well, we've got some. I mean, doing the shelving and all that, and the lighting and stuff. We've got some ideas. It's just we still have the one wall to build. We didn't work on it tonight, but
Yeah, but it's just that one, and then so that's where we were trying to figure out what we're doing because we have to order it, and everything is waiting for delivery, of course. So it says it's in stock though, right? That was the one that was in stock.
they can get it. They didn't have it
Yeah,
at the store.
so
So we may.
the bane of his existence, storage. Yeah,
Don't get us started on storage. We're notorious for there's I call it junk. It's not junk, but there's stuff everywhere because you get going on a project and
yeah,
leave this here and leave that there, and we always say everything needs to have a home.
yeah.
It's like you take out the
Well, none of it is stuff we want to get rid of because in that regular homesteading, prepper, whatever mindset that you have, it's like it could be valuable one day. It could be something that we need, and
well,
then we'll
and
curse that we threw it
some
out.
things have been because there's been times when we've been like, oh, we don't need this anymore, and we just happen to keep a hold of it, and then a year later, it's like, oh, glad we kept that.
Well, we're
now
so glad because look at all the stuff we've been building with all stuff that we had kicking around here, which
you never get the lumber.
Well, no, never.
That's totally different.
And we're lucky we came to bought a place that was full of junk lumber and pallets and everything else. So it's definitely been helpful for that. Mm-hmm. But I think we have a potential decision.
Well, I think because really our big thing was on the price point. Really, the paint and the black and white plastic wasn't a lot difference in price. Plastic's actually probably a little cheaper than the paint was.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that question of, not really knowing anybody who's used it. It's like if, you read it's good, but is it really going to work the way we need it to? And if it will, then I kind of am leaning towards that.
Well, yeah. It might be easier and quicker to install.
Well, we can, I'm sure, it won't be too bad.
Compared to actually going to the effort of painting and then painting a second coat.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point too. We can always reuse it.
No, he's talking about all the stuff that we collect.
Oh, well, that too. But even the plastic. I was reading about the black and white plastic. You can make like pond liners and stuff out of those. What they were saying.
Whether he is talking about the black and white plastic. Yeah. So now I have a question. Would you paint the floor white?
That floor's blue, right?
It's blue-gray, yeah. I'm aspiring minimalist. Oh boy. Yeah, well, but you've got
yeah, we're not
that is not us.
No, we're the opposite.
No, we hang on to so much stuff, and
well, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff though.
I never had a lot of stuff.
I have a lot of the same stuff.
I have a lot of crafting stuff.
To put it in perspective, the little room back here, you can kind of see we've got a shelf with some seeds on it. That room was originally supposed to be our sort of little upstairs grow area, and when we cleaned it out recently, the number of pots, like plant pots that we took out of there was astronomical, and we just hadn't organized them. They were on everything.
We had so many.
So that room was basically, you couldn't even get in it. Yeah, I was thinking you could staple it on.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's easy.
I don't think for what we're growing, because I know sometimes, depending on what you're growing, there's concern about like keeping the heat in. I don't think, because we're growing mostly cool season stuff like lettuce and kale and other greens, I'm not super worried about insulating that concrete wall. But
well, and I don't think that's going to be a big deal. I think I would just put the plastic right over top of it. Yeah. But no, that is. So I'm liking that sound of a staple gun. That's a much better tool than a roller. So I'm liking this idea. We'll get on that and order it for sure.
Sounds good, Jan. Thank you for stopping in. Hopefully your internet doesn't keep messing up
Yeah.
forever. The joys of internet
Oh,
connections.
yes.
So,
But and what did sorry, I was going back up to Wildwood there. I'm just pointing out the may not be true.
oh, kid stuff.
Yes,
Yeah, don't even.
kids. Oh,
It only gets worse.
and whatever you do, don't hang on to the toys. I'll tell you, we've hung on to and we've collected so many toys for them. Yeah, that was a pain. And this year we just blitzed it out. We've been getting rid of toys like crazy. Um, it's yeah, been one of
And
those.
freeing up space to do
Yes,
other projects.
yeah, exactly. Hence, a grow room developing where a pile of toys and
think,
junk used to be.
I think this will be good.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because kind of going back to the different materials and the reflectiveness and that, like when you first start looking into it, kind of, I want to say everything kind of leads you towards the mylar and the Solar or whatever it is, the more expensive one. But then when you actually get continuing to do more reading about it, then it just starts to get more confusing. So this is good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one thing we won't be as.
Yeah.
It won't matter
so
as much.
it won't be as yeah. Okay. Well, that's easy.
Mhm.
And you know, it's probably a good plastic that worst case scenario, if you rip it off, you could probably put it somewhere to get rid of grass.
Well, it's basically the exact same.
It's like sounds like the big.
We bought hay bales that had some on the end of it. Remember? They
Yeah.
were black on one side and white on the other. And it was quite heavy stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, crazy families. Me too. Is that about your internet or about kids' toys?
That's a good question, Wildwood. It was the reflectiveness because again,
It contains the light in it.
Yeah, containing the light, because if you contain the light, essentially if it's reflecting, you're actually getting more light to the plants. Like this is the stevia, I never say that right. Stevia that we planted. One of the things I mentioned about that in that video was I probably should put some kind of reflective something around it, because we just have it under like a little light with one bulb in it, and we had to put the cage around it because we didn't want the cats. We weren't worried about the plant as much as getting and digging in the soil. But it's just open to the room, so it's where we have it. It's great because the light comes on at night. The stevia doesn't seem to have a problem with that cycle, even though it gets a little bit of light during the day. But you're losing it to the room, right? As opposed to keeping it focused over the plant. Whereas if we put the reflective around it, you're containing it. So the theory here is just you're doing that to the whole room, because we've done. We're also thinking about going to the LED lights over the normal conventional fluorescent tubes, because we've used the fluorescent tubes for quite a few years for seed starting. And one of the things which kind of goes back to this containing the light is we've never really set something up to contain the light, and you do lose a lot of it, so you end up with leggier plants and that sort of thing. So again, just kind of going from
well, the hope is that
what we've been reading and watching,
making it all reflective, we will require less lights. Like, what do we have? We have 10 lights.
We've got 10 right now.
Yeah. See you later, Amy. Thanks. But yeah, I think the hope. Oh, what's it? Light is heat. Things can get very hot. You may laugh, but
HPS. What is that?
You must heat it. Yeah. Huh.
Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it warms it up. Like, again, this little the little room behind my head. It's not contained, and it is in a warmer part of the house. But we notice that when we've had up to 10 lights on that, and it makes that little space quite warm, and that's got a fair bit of ventilation. So we're kind of trying to get the balance of how much reflectiveness can we get to reduce the number of lights we need, because we don't want to have a million light fixtures.
Yeah.
And still get the greens produced. And the nice part is the green vegetables are a lot of them are a little more forgiving. which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been
great.
Yes,
It's kind of been exactly what we were hoping for, and it's sparked some conversation. And
yeah, no, that's what it's. And I think, yeah, we're going to be doing a video about it. We just got to get the plastic now.
Okay, yeah, because they're really high intensity. I thought it was one of the. No, I can believe that. Have you ever used any of the LED grow lights? Just out of complete curiosity, because I know even the fluorescent tubes. We've got like 4-foot shop lights that we're gonna use for this room. It's kind of the plan because we have those.
But we can switch them to the LED bulbs.
Yeah, and so we were kind of thinking about it. But again, we've talked to a few people about it, and like the reviews are pretty decent. Just we've never actually tried it.
Yeah.
That's similar to what we've
Okay.
got,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost thinking of doing like a 50-50 and trying some of the LEDs, but so that we don't have to replace everything all at once. And because they are technically cheaper, buying a few more, like replacing some of our normal fluorescent tubes, and doing like 50% LED, 50% the tubes, and sort of see what happens.
I think that's a smart way to go, to kind of slowly integrate. But the big thing was there were so many options on the fluorescent front, or not fluorescent, sorry.
On the LED.
Yeah.
Again, it's that same thing. Like you get into doing the research, and it's just exponential, goes in all directions as to trying to figure out the answer you're looking for. It's not super straightforward. But it's talking to people is better.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to get it done and get going on it, and
we'll see where we get this weekend. I think we probably will go ahead and order that black and white.
The panda foil.
The panda foil.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to call it.
Thank you very much, Johnny, for confirming that is the option.
Yes, that is extremely helpful.
Well, and you didn't choose the most expensive option.
No, we weren't even talking about price yet.
Yeah, but I think we're probably going to wrap it up there, and go and kind of maybe build a wall. We have one more wall to go. Yeah, make some plans and get thinking about some things, and kind of go from there. But this was definitely good for getting some feedback and helping us to just make. We're terrible, absolutely terrible at decision making.
Well, you get a bunch of. It's like you have an idea, then you do some research and get some information. Then that usually leads to something else, and you just kind of end up in this circle of like, okay, well, if we do this, we can do it this way, but maybe if we do that, we can do it that way, and you just kind of constantly.
Yeah, and talk yourself out of which way you're going to do it. Next thing you know, you've gotten to the point that it's like March, and it's why bother.
Well, and some things it's okay to just be like, okay, we're doing this, and it doesn't matter. But this is kind of one of those things where we're like, it'd be nice to figure a little bit more out.
Thank you very much to everybody for coming and helping us make our decisions.
No,
and
no worries, Lori, it happens.
We look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
We kind of haven't figured out a.
Yeah, we kind of are bouncing around. We're finding it really hard to figure out time to do lives between everybody else doing lives and trying to kind of squeeze in there. So yeah, we're just kind of doing it, and whoever turns up, and that's fantastic. And we're so glad you guys were here. And we will keep going with our videos and keep watching for what we decide to do and how it goes with this grow room.
Yes.
But I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and we shall see you again soon.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Don't forget to stop time.